Let's go, Wilson!
Cool, we're over here with my man B-Boy Wilson. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good today. I'm excited for the Flomo anniversary.
It's gonna be amazing, yes.
Yeah.
Glad to have you over, yeah.
Yeah, it's been wonderful in Helsinki so far. I've really had a great time, and I'm excited for today and tomorrow because that'll be really fun.
Can you give a big, a small introduction about yourself? How did you get into breaking and how did you get to where you're at over here in Helsinki today?
Okay, so I started with an after-school program at my school. I was really lucky that there was a program with someone named Tony, who ended up teaching me and some other kids in my class some basic breaking moves, like to get us into it. And long story short, I was kind of the only one who kept with it. And then I started doing classes at a school in my area called The Lab, which was really fun. So I kind of just did that one class a week for quite a while until I really decided that this was what I want to do. And then after that, I did my first competition, which was with a kid who also did classes at the lab named Jules. And we lost in the first round. I was pretty upset. And that was the first of many times I would lose.
Yeah, that's the way you work your way up.
Yeah, and then the event was called Rock the Box, and it's pretty much the only event I did for a bit. I did it year after year, and then the next year I did it was with another kid, and instead of losing in the first round, we actually made it to the semifinals, and then lost to the kids who won, which was nice. And then I started doing some other events. We started doing some events at Johns Hopkins University, and one of the most important events, I think, for me was an event called Break the Ice. So it's important to know that I was very tired because it was the day I came back from England. So it was like 9 p.m. there, but it felt like 3 a.m. for me. And I wasn't even supposed to battle, because there was some friends who were adults, and one of their partners in the 3v3 dropped out, and I didn't have to, but I asked if I could take his place, and I said, sure, why not? And my dad told me, okay, you're just gonna do prelims, like, you got this, because it was kind of like I just do one round. So I did the one round, and I was still pretty happy with it, and really tired. And then we made it past. So my dad was like, 2 rounds for the top 8. And then I did the 2 rounds. And then we won. So then we made it to the semifinals, and he was like, just go. So I did it. And when we did lose that battle, again to the eventual winners. But that was a very important event for me because it was an event where I realized that I really like competing. And competing is really fun for me.
Nice.
And eventually, around that same time, I signed up, and then I started doing the Master Your Foundation videos. And I wasn't quite ready for a lot of the videos there yet, but the ones that I did find I really enjoyed. And of course, they were videos of you, mostly. And I remember very clearly a specific, video where you were, showing, go-downs or something. And I remember thinking, this is really, really hard. And thinking, there's no way I'll be able to do this. This is so hard. My legs, they hurt. I mean, here I am today, and I can do the moves now. But I remember at the end of the day, I went back to the video with you. Remember that? Like, and then I eventually did it, and I remember getting so happy, and then I like ran around my house for like 5 minutes.
Wow.
But I was eventually, like a couple years later, kind of doing kind of the same thing, just doing some events, but not like a lot of events, still a lot of local events. And I remember this was right around where I was deciding, or our family in general was deciding that like it might be a good idea to start competing more. And like this was like when I was ready to like step it up and start competing on a kind of a national level. And then this was right at the beginning of 2020. So we did an event, which was supposed to be like the start of it. It was a 3v3 up in New York, and I was happy with it. And then about a week later, COVID kind of shut everything down, so there wasn't really any events to go to anymore. So we were kind of stuck indoors, and then I remember with you, we did some practices, and I remember doing a specific class where I was like the youngest person there by quite a bit. And I remember I have a very specific memory of thinking that I'm so young. They're so good. And then I thought, I'm so bad.
Oh.
But that was kind of a moment of just like everything. Because I was watching so many battles then. I literally went to bed to battles. And then I did, and so those practices were really fun to do. And COVID went on for quite a bit, and kind of in the middle of the COVID, I started doing a lot of online classes, like a lot, with so many different people that it would take a while to name them all. But like I was doing class, like it was like online school. Well, it was like class, online school, class, bedtime. Because I'm still like 8, 9, so it's like I'm still really young. And like I remember just like eventually it became too much for me, and I started thinking I kind of want to be a kid again. Like it just felt like a lot in the moment. So I remember at the beginning of summer 2021, I quit like doing all those classes. I kind of stopped. It was also after I got a concussion, so I had a break then, and then I decided I liked not having to do as much things. And it wasn't because of like I didn't enjoy classes. It was I didn't always enjoy having to do so many. Like the classes themselves were great, and I thought that they were amazing classes, but just doing them again and again and again was just too much for my little brain. So I kind of stopped for about like a bit of a summer, and then coming into the next year, like or after the summer, I went to an LOZ, a line design anniversary, and I went back because it was like it's here. There's a lot of people there, so I went, and then everyone was like Wilson, because like this was when COVID was starting to like people weren't completely locked in their houses anymore, and then I realized that one of the reasons I really love breaking so much is because of the community. And I didn't really realize how important that was to me until it kind of started to go away in a way, because I wasn't really seeing the people that I used to see. And then after that, I did the Breaking for Gold regional events. I did one in Texas, won that. Then I did nationals and made the team, which I was really happy about. And then ever since then, I've kind of started to do stuff. And on the day of nationals, or the day after nationals, there was another event, the A Fatty Philly Open, where I wasn't actually wanting to do it at first because I was really tired, and overnight I was feeling really sick. So it was kind of, I was just woke up tired, and a lot of people from the other day weren't wanting to do it because it was like they had done so much in the previous day. but I did end up doing it. And then I made it to the finals, which got me a spot in the World Kids Breaking Championship in Slovenia. And I didn't actually know that I was going to go to that because it was supposed to be only the first place that was going to end up going. But he couldn't end up going. And I remember I was online with someone, and then he told me, I was online with Box One, and then he told me, the person who got first place can't go, and you got second place. So then I said, well, first he said the person who got first place can't go, and I was like, oh, that's too bad. And then he told me that I got second place, which I knew, but I didn't really realize that would like mean that I got to go. And when I realized that I got to go, I got really excited. And then I started kind of training more for that. And then when it came, like I remember the day I left was kind of a roller coaster of events because that was my last day of normal school because we decided the day before that day that we weren't going to continue with the school. We were going to do more home online hybrid school next year. So it was kind of, and I'd been to that school for most of my life, so it was kind of like an emotional roller coaster because like I leave school and it's kind of like, wow, okay, I'm leaving now. Like I've been there. It was just like I've been there for so long. And then next thing I know, I'm in Europe. So that's really interesting. It's also weird when you go to Europe. You leave at night and you get there and it's morning. That's always kind of weird. But then I got to Slovenia. Met 2 good friends there, which was actually really cool that I made some friends. Met some good friends, yeah. And then I did the event, and it was a 64 bracket. And first round I was against a kid from Poland. And I won. So that was one of my big goals. I really didn't want to just come and lose. Like that was just something that was kind of haunting me. And then next round was about against an older like hometown like hero. And I remember that battle was pretty hard, but I won that too. And then I was in the top 16. And this already felt like such a success. Like that, the fact that I was there felt amazing. Like, then the next round I was really nervous. Like, before, and when the other kid was going, I was like, a little like, just really scared. And then I remember when he stopped going, stood up, and started, and like, did that, I kind of had to just let go and go in and do my thing. And I did, and I won that too. And then the next battle was against one of the best kids there, named Raptor from Ukraine. And he won that, but I felt really good about my performance. He did end up actually winning the entire thing. You might notice that I tend to lose to the winner a lot by now. And since we were there, and then Flomo was happening, because like it would be a lot to go to but since I was getting flown out to Slovenia, we were like, wait, Flomo's happening. We can go to this. So then we went there, or we went here, and now I'm doing this. And I've really loved Helsinki so far. It's been so fun. Drank some blueberry juice on the flight. That was really good. So yeah, that's how I got here.
Awesome.
And that was a big monologue.
And you are 11 years old right now?
I'm 11
right
now,
Part
yes.
of Team USA breaking for the juniors
Yes.
league, or how do you say it?
So we actually have 4 divisions. It's the youth, which is under 13, which I am in. And then there's the teens, which is the teens. There's B-girl adults and adults, B-boys. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we have 4 divisions.
Big things. You came a long way already this far, and you have a long way to go.
Yeah.
What do you have to say for other people 11 years old, plus minus, who want to make it in the international battles or even the national battles? What kind of advice do you have for a kid with the same dream that you had a couple years ago?
I'd say that this is advice that someone named Phil Wizard gave to me. You probably know who that is. And it's basically that and I found that advice was amazing advice. And it's that don't put too much pressure on this one. Like, don't act like this is it. It's do or die. Like, this is, if you do bad, you're dead. Like, because I find that, like, it's not saying not to do your best. It's saying not to put too much pressure on it. Because there was actually a battle that I remember, where I did. It was it was USA Nationals 2022, so not the most recent one, but the first one I did, where I kind of thought that all this work that I've done is leading up to this, and like, it's this, I need to win this. And I don't think that I did as well as I wanted to. And I felt like it was really like I went in more scared than I usually am. Especially when I started facing like more difficult opponents. Just felt, because like it's more difficult than like regionals, because like you're going up. Like, it's just, I was really nervous. And I think I did well in it, but not as well as I knew I could. So, but I also, some other advice about it is that, like, it's like Nike's motto is kind of like, just do it. And I think that, I'm not sponsored by Nike, but I think that, like, just doing it, just getting out there is something that's really important, because, I did do an international event, but that was a little different because it was a family trip that I was doing, which was actually why I was jet lagged for that event I was talking about, because of the England trip. But this is my first, like, international event, World Kids, where I really felt competitive. Like, I felt like I needed to do it, and it was really hard to kind of get out there, because it's almost like it's a completely different feeling than local or even national events, because it's like, it's people from all over the globe. So I'd say just getting yourself out there is a really good, if you can, getting out there is something
that's good.
And
that's good.
Of course, take it one step at a time. If you don't feel like this is where you want to be right now, then just, go up the ladder. Like, there's different kind of, not tiers, but like different kind of levels of events. Like, there's like very small events, local events, and then it kind of just goes up from there. We can cut some of that out.
That's good. And that's for the younger people aiming for it. How about us grown-ups, us adults? What kind of adult do you have for people, let's say in his 20s or 30s, trying to make it in the battle scene? Because often a lot of people have big dreams in the battles, but they maybe didn't give it a shot yet. You battled a lot already by the young age. It might be a similar answer, yes. But how about us grown-ups? What kind of tips do you have for us?
Well, I'm not a grown-up, but I'll do my best. I'd say a lot of battles, if you're not as well known yet, it's like you have to do prelims first, because you're probably not invited if you're not as well known. And I'd say it's kind of like a one step at a time thing. It's like, do prelims and don't like think past that. Don't think about doing more. Just think, I'm doing prelims now, put it all on the floor, and then if you make it, great. And if you don't make it, don't think about how I didn't make it, that's terrible, I'm terrible, and then just don't think that you can never do it because you don't make it that one time. But if you do make it, just think, oh, now I need to put everything on the floor for my top 16 battle or my top 8 battle or the first round, whatever the first round is. And I'd say same thing for if you lose. It's like, don't quit because you don't think that you can do it ever. Just like always think about what you're doing now, and then when it's over, think about what you're doing next. It's just one step at a time, yeah.
Respect, man.
Is that
You
it?
got a lot of talent in you. There's a lot of things you can accomplish. So keep going, do it strong.
Thank you.
Enjoy the battles on the weekend. Let's have a good time. The Flomo anniversary. Killing the battles over here too. Thank you for your time. Booyah! Catch your own battles and travels everywhere in the world, y'all.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Kiitos, as we say in Finnish.
Yeah. I actually
Cool.
found out that word on my own.
Anybody else, head out to bboydojo.com for more information and free workshops and all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Peace.